Hi, good afternoon. I'm Representative Carrie Seekins Crow from House District 39 in Billings, and today is a good day. Today, the administration signed to protect Title IX and protect women. Also today, we just passed House Bill 300 on the floor in second reading to protect women's sports. And today, I am standing with my sisters. For too long, women have been told that we just have to acquiesce to accepting, to being comfortable, to changing and competing against men. We've been told by the opposition that we are supposed to support the safety, the comfort, and the privacy of biological men, and that's important unless you're a woman. We've been told to keep people from being bullied unless you're a woman. We've been told to support the right to protection, equality, discrimination, unless you're a woman. We've been told that we have to pass laws to protect people unless you're a woman. We've been told that we're supposed to care about the health and well-being of people unless you're a woman. And today is important as we go forward, implementing Title IX as it's supposed to be implementing, protecting women and protecting our daughters, protecting our granddaughters so that they can compete, so that they can rise or even fall. But do it with grace, do it with dignity, and do it without men in our restrooms, in our locker rooms, and in our sports. Today is a good day.
Hello, my name is Morgan Teal. I'm representative from House District 30 in Sidney, Montana, and I'm also thrilled this bill passed today through the House. There's more to life than sports, but sports are a big part of life in Montana. As a former high school athlete myself who competed in 3 different programs at the varsity level in Class A, I'm thrilled to see this bill pass. I'd like to speak specifically to volleyball for a moment. There's a big difference between men and women and their strength, and this may come as a shock, but men hit the ball a lot harder than women. I played in high school, I play now as an adult, I coach and I ref. I take that risk when I play co-ed, when I play with men, because I have over 10 years of skills and experience that I can protect myself on the court with men who hit a lot harder. To force our female high school athletes to have to compete with men with that higher level of strength before they've had a chance to develop their skills is a huge safety concern, and besides the fairness factor and the logic of it all. I'm thrilled to see this bill go through. Looking forward to more legislation we can pass to protect women in Montana. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm proud to stand alongside Representative Seekins Crow and my colleagues to support House Bill 300, a bill that upholds fairness, safety, and integrity in women's sports. Montana has always stood for common sense, and this is common sense. We separate men's and women's sports for a reason, because biological differences matter in competition. No one is saying that all athletes aren't valued, but we are saying that women deserve a level playing field, and that's what House Bill 300 does. For me, it's personal. I have a daughter, and like every parent, I want her to grow up in a world that values fairness. I want her to know that when she works hard, she'll have the same opportunities as everyone else. That is what this bill is about, protecting fairness for every girl who puts in the effort, who dreams big, and who deserves an equal shot. Every parent here understands that desire to see their children have a fair chance at success. House Bill 300 ensures that fairness and remains a reality for Montana female athletes. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here with my colleagues today. We are happy on National Women's Day to take time to recognize the incredible contribution women make in Montana and across the nation. Women are the backbone of our families, communities, and schools. They are leaders, innovators, and hard workers who shape the future for the next generation. And today we don't just celebrate their accomplishments, we stand up for their rights and for their opportunities. Montanans believe in integrity and hard work. Our female athletes are a great example. They put in the hours, the dedication, and the discipline to compete at the highest levels. And they deserve to know they are competing on a level playing field. That's why House Bill 300 matters. This bill ensures that Montana's females Athletes are not forced to compete with biological males, nor have their privacy and access to programs compromised. It provides legal protections and a clear pathway for young women to defend their rights. Today is not just a day to celebrate, but a call to action. It's about ensuring that every young girl in Montana knows that her hard work matters, that her dedication matters, and that her opportunities matter. Today, let's stand up together and commit to standing for integrity, sportsmanship, and standing up for all women and their future. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm the Lieutenant Governor. I am also a mother, a grandmother, and yes, a woman. And I'm probably one of the few people in the room who actually was a student and did not have the opportunities of Title IX because it came into law when I was in high school. And it was such a blessing to see my friends be able to have the same opportunities to develop all of the skills and benefits that you enjoy when you compete in sports. This bill is a common sense measure that builds upon the work of our administration and the legislature, what we have done in the past to protect women and preserve fairness in sports. It's really what it is all about, fairness. The vast majority of Montanans recognize that biological boys and men should not be competing against girls and women in athletic programs, nor violating their private spaces. As the governor said in his State of the State address, men do not belong in women's sports, men do not belong in women's bathrooms, and men do not belong in women's shower rooms. In 2021, the governor and the legislature worked together to pass the Save Women's Sport Act, which codified protections for female athletic programs in K through 12 as well as college settings. It was a simple and common sense bill that protected women and fairness for female student athletes. House Bill 300 will strengthen the Save Women's Sports Act, protecting them and giving women and girls a legal pathway to file discrimination complaints if their rights are violated. Fortunately, this time, we are not alone in protecting women and girls. I'm happy to share that earlier today, President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order protecting women in sports. And just like all the other causes the president has championed these last few weeks, he's already getting results. According to news reports, thanks to the president's announcement, it's widely expected the NCAA will take steps to follow federal law and the biological science to protect fairness in women's sports. This is a stark contrast from what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris tried to do, rewrite Title IX that protected me and my classmates and weakened its intent and erode the fundamental principles of fairness in women's sport. Governor Gianforte and I stand solidly behind President Trump and with the legislature in protecting fairness for women and girls. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Caitlin Wenzel, and I serve as captain of the inaugural Carroll College competitive dance team. This is the first year Carroll has had a competitive dance team within the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, and it's an exciting milestone for us, our college, and our state. Our team is the first of any Montana institution, both NAIA and NCAA, to compete as a registered competitive sport. Although NAIA competitive dance can include both male and female athletes, we currently host an all-female team. Regardless, the unique dynamics and experiences of all female athletes, particularly in terms of safety, privacy, and fair competition, must still be safeguarded by ensuring that women's spaces and opportunities within sports remain protected. For years, we dancers have had to fight for the respect and recognition we deserve. Dancing at a competitive collegiate level requires just as much physical strength, skill, and dedication as any other sport. Now that dance is finally being recognized and supported within collegiate athletics in Montana, It's vital that we protect the women who are a part of it. As a female athlete, I've worked incredibly hard over the past 14 years to reach my current level of skill and performance. And I know all of the other incredible athletes on these 7 exclusively women's athletic teams at Carroll College have done the same. The NAIA was the first major collegiate sports governing body in the United States to affirm the importance of protecting women's sports. The organization's Council of Presidents voted 20-0 to approve a policy that only student athletes whose assigned sex at birth is female are allowed to compete on NAIA-sponsored women's sports teams back April of 2024. Equally crucial and more applicable to my personal experiences as a female student athlete, I want to speak about the importance of maintaining safe and private spaces for all students. As someone who spends times in locker rooms, restrooms, and overnight accommodations as part of training and competition, I can tell you that these are spaces where athletes, especially female athletes, whether on an all-female or a co-ed team, need to feel comfortable and secure. They need privacy to change, shower, and prepare for their athletic activities without the fear of having someone of the opposite sex present. This bill ensures that educational institutions maintain these safe, single-sex spaces, which are critical for all students' physical and emotional well-being. The private spaces provided to students should be designated for their sex. That's just common sense. This bill acknowledges the right of individuals to privacy, to dignity, and to safety. If we want to create an environment where all students can thrive, we must ensure that everyone feels safe and secure in these spaces. House Bill 300 is a promise kept to female athletes, giving us the tools, resources, and the respect that we deserve. I'm proud to stand here today alongside another female athlete from my college in support of this bill and the future it represents for all women in sports. Thank you, and go Saints.
Hello, my name is Stella Claridge, and I'm 20 years old. I'm a poli-sci major in communications. I'm from Kalispell, Montana, and I am thrilled to be here to speak on a matter that affects me among many other women. As a collegiate golfer and a member of the Student Athletic Advisory Council at Carroll College, I am deeply concerned about biological men stepping into the women's sports industry. Women have fought so hard for an equal opportunity in the workplace, education, and in sports, such as golf. But sadly, our country is working backward. By allowing biological men to compete in the women's division, it takes away that equal opportunity. Title IX was established to ensure equal athletic opportunities for women. Allowing men to compete in the women's categories violates the spirit of law. We as Americans and Montanans must face the reality that biological men, no matter how they choose to identify, compete in female sports only hurts women's equality. It should be a no-brainer that females should be given their own sports divisions and spaces without the threat of biological males infringing on them. Biological men have the benefit of going through puberty. They become stronger, taller, bigger, and a bunch of other things. I could go on. Those are all factors that reducing testosterone levels during sex reassignment surgeries will not change. Some may say that there is little to no effect of gender-affirming surgeries in the game of golf, but that is simply not true. Pro golfer Lauren Miller has played 56 holes alongside Haley Davidson, a trans female. In recent weeks, she estimates that on average, Davidson hits it about 10 to 20 yards farther than she does. This might not seem like a lot, but those of you who play know that 10 yards is about a club difference. That one club can determine whether you make it on the green in regulation or a chipping on for a par. A little more than a decade ago, Bobby Lancaster became the first transgender athlete to compete in the LPGA qualifying school. The now 73-year-old physician says the LPGA pursuit was primarily driven by innocence, mixed with a little bit of ignorance. Now the former honor biology student can't ignore what she believes the science proves. Transgender women who experienced male puberty have legacy advantages that no amount of hormones or surgeries can erase. Lancaster's belief that integrity must trump inclusivity is elite in women's sports. It comes at a time when Davidson continues to draw national attention after her recent win. Luckily for me, the LPGA, along with the NAIA, has made it clear that there is a huge difference between the sexes, male and female, that specifically affect our sport. Effective on January 1st, 2025, the LPGA enacted the policy that in order to compete, you must be assigned female at birth or have transitioned prior to age 12. This is a step in the right direction. I hope that this will have an influence on other divisions and sports because not all are fortunate enough to have this policy yet. Barbara Edhart, a Division I basketball player, said, "The progress that we, as women, have made over the last 50 years will be for naught, and we will be forced to be spectators in our own sports." Edhart is entirely correct. Our country must come to the conclusion that men are biologically different. Females will always have the disadvantage, which is why we should retain the right to compete against our own sex so that fair competition is ensured. Women's sports exist for a reason. Therefore, it is dire to acknowledge that the biological reality isn't discrimination, it's fairness. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much for showing up today. I want to first thank the president. Thank you, Donald Trump, for protecting women. I also want to thank our governor and the governor's office, Susie Hedelin with OPI, our leadership here today who have stood beside and behind who we are as women. And I want to thank Montanans. Montanans spoke loud and clearly that this is what they want. They want their daughters and they want their granddaughters to be able to compete, to be able to live in an environment where there is not sex discrimination. And so with that, I just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you very much.
So if we want to open it up for a couple questions here, do we have any questions?
My question, I guess, is for you, Representative. When you were developing this bill or during the process, have you had conversations with the universities or the high schools about how they would be able to investigate a claim of a transgender individual competing?
Well, there are a couple ways that it can be investigated. One is through a birth certificate. That's a very important starting point for that if there are some claims. And the other, it's every athlete has to have a physical. And so the doctors are aware of that as well. So there are ways that those can be investigated.
How do you see Trump's executive order and your bill either aligning, or is there differences there? Is there fallbacks there that are in place between the Title IX, EO, and your bill?
Well, I haven't had the opportunity to take a look at the executive order yet today, but I would imagine that they align very well, and it's going to encourage our own college system to not be afraid of having funds taken away if they actually do support women's privacy and women competing in sports with only biological women.
Yes. Yeah, can you talk about the litigation against, I think it was House Bill 112 that touched on this issue a couple sessions ago, and how it affected the university system and whether this bill will have a different course, I guess, in your view?
Well, I believe that this bill is what they are considering to be generally applicable. The lieutenant governor might be able to answer it better than I do. But I think that with the executive order today and what's going to happen with Title IX, I don't think we're going to have the same problems that we had at that point. Would you like further clarification from the lieutenant governor? Okay.
Representative Seekins Crow explained it very well. In the case involving House Bill 1112 in 2021, the District Court and the Supreme Court found that it infringed, as drafted, infringed upon the authority of the Board of Regents, that it was not a generally applicable law. This law is generally applicable, and just like voting laws, for example, apply on campus, laws of general applicability apply on campus.
Any other questions at this time? Well, seeing none, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it. Thank you.